development project of Sbkhat Sejami in Tunis. An ambitious project with high potential to be exploited. Sbkhat Sejami spread over an area of about 2,600 hectares in the area of Tunis West. Formerly, far from the Tunisian agglomeration, it is nowadays inserted into the urban landscape of the capital Tunis and served by important road infrastructures. It is also very close to the Kasbah and the Medina. Its edges are characterized by the density of the population. Indeed, the human concentration in the area is estimated at 2,800 inhabitants per kilometer squares for a total of 515,000 inhabitants according to 2014 statistics, or 48% of the population residing in the Governorate of Tunis. Despite its strategic location and the beauty of some of its landscapes, Sbkhat Sejami presents several problems. The most important one is the malfunction of the hydraulic system of the Sbkhat. Firstly, because the south urban extension of the capital deprived the Sbkhat Sejami of its natural link with the Mediterranean Sea via Melian River. On the other hand, the accumulation of solid waste on its banks reduced its retention capacity from 35.4 in 2009 to 33.3 million meter cube in 2016. As a result, the Sbkhat has no longer the ability to cap the flood peaks. Sbkhat Sejami is also an outlet for several discharges. Meteoric and wastewater flows into the Sbkhat through some 49 hydraulic structures through the structuring paths around the Sbkhat, and 11 wastewater pumping stations are located at its peripherals. All of its factors have caused an alarming ecological situation, resulting in the presence of pollution in the Sbkhat and the conditions of extreme eutrophication conditions manifested in summer by the release of nauseating smells and the development of mosquito clouds that become unbearable by the inhabitants, despite the efforts made by intensive treatments. In response to this critical situation and following the flooding in the western part of Tunis in September 2003, the state undertook a flood protection study of the area, which identified several actions to be undertaken, the main one being the implementation of a Sbkhat drainage structure which is being built by the Tunisian Ministry of Equipment, and which includes a storm overflow at plus 8.73 meters NGT, connected to a 6 kilometers long canal leading to Melian River. In spite of all the limits mentioned above, Sbkhat Sejami presents another aspect which makes it possible to apprehend its true value, its important natural wealth untapped until now. Indeed, we notice the presence of a large population of birds and green spaces, but in a very degraded environment that does not allow their exploitation in favor of the development of Tunis West. Sbkhat's ornithological diversity amounts to 75 species ranging from flamingos to leucoth gulls, and including several species of ducks and waders, which made Sbkhat Sejami a member of the Ramsar Convention in 2007 as a wetland of international importance. These assets should normally constitute levers for the development of this area located in the urban center. Moreover, not far from Sbkhat Sejami and a few kilometers as the crow flies, is the Lake of Tunis, which was in the 1980, in a very degraded situation comparable to Sejami Marsh in its current state. Today, following its development, the North Lake of Tunis has become one of the main business districts of the capital, one of the most luxurious residential areas in the country, and it is home to the most important leisure and entertainment centers in the capital Tunis. In 2015, in order to enhance Sibkhة Sejaami's assets, improve the environmental conditions of the surrounding population and respect the natural and ecological characteristics of the site, the Tunisian government entrusted the Ministry of Equipment, Housing and Territorial Development the mission to carry out an in-depth study of the development of Sibkhة Sejaami. The main guiding objectives of the project are the protection of neighboring urban areas against flooding, the cleanup of the Sibkhة, its reconciliation with its natural and human environment, and the development of the Tunis Western area for a better life. This integrated project consists mainly of intervening in the morphology of the Sibkhة so that it can assume its main function as a peak flood capping environment, the depollution of the water of the Sibkhة, and the development of a futuristic urban project on its banks. So it is planned, first, to keep a controllable wetland on an area of 1,860 hectares with a capacity of 40 million m3 at plus 9.5 meter NGT, allowing peak flood control. It will be arranged in 3 floors offering different, progressive and variable drafts, for the bird population and mainly pink flamingos. A lower floor that will constitute a permanent water body, an intermediate middle floor, and a high floor maintained at its original level. Then the interception of all the discharges of water pouring into the Sibkhة through various interception channels, their transport to 4 settling basins, for treatment of the first flows in order to improve the quality of the water, which will be clean and reflect the beauty of the landscape. Finally, the current banks of the Sibkhة, irregular and partially filled with construction waste, will be rectified, and by using the excavation materials of the Sibkhة, solid earth will be created on the order of 700 hectares, at a grade of nearly plus 11 meters NGT. The result of the study makes it possible to reconcile the protection of this wetland under better conditions with its development for the socio-economic development of the Western Tunis area. Sibkhة Sejaami is an integrated sustainable project that can accommodate residential projects, leisure centers, green spaces and urban development that promote the improvement of the living environment in the West Tunis region. Sibkhة Sejaami development project is a realistic, futuristic and ambitious project. In addition to a transition from one alarming situation to another, which is both rewarding and balanced, this project makes it possible to reconcile an expanding urban landscape with a natural landscape of multiple riches.